Have you ever stood in front of the mirror and wondered, am I truly attractive? Not just physically, but in a way that pulls people in. Your energy, your confidence, your presence. Here's the truth most don't tell you. True attractiveness isn't about flawless features or fitting into society's narrow ideals. In fact, some of the most magnetic women aren't the most traditionally beautiful. They're the ones who own who they are, quietly, unapologetically. At Factsworth, we break through the noise. In this video, you'll discover 10 powerful signs that you're far more attractive than you think. These are the cues men notice, but rarely admit. They're not surface level. They're psychological, emotional, undeniable. So if you're ready to see yourself clearly and finally recognize the power you carry, stay with us. Let's begin. Number 1, you're independent, and that makes you unforgettable. You don't need someone to lead you. You already know who you are. Your independence runs deeper than finances. It's emotional, mental, and even spiritual. You've stopped waiting for someone to complete you because you've realized the truth. You're already whole. You don't chase approval. You don't ask for permission. You move with purpose, on your own terms. And men notice. They see it in the way you carry yourself. Confident, centered, untouchable. You're not asking anyone to save you. If they want a place in your life, they have to rise to your level, not pull you off course. That kind of self-possession, it's rare, it's magnetic, and it's exactly why you're the kind of woman people remember, even when you've said nothing at all. Number 2, you don't chase, and that sets you apart. You've outgrown the chase, the late-night overthinking, the silent waiting. Because a woman who knows her worth doesn't chase love, she attracts it. You're not in the business of convincing anyone to stay. You don't play games. You don't send texts just to keep someone interested. Why? Because you've learned the difference between attention and intention. Real love shows up without making you question your value. Your silence speaks volumes. It says, I'm not difficult to love. You're just not the one. That kind of self-respect doesn't scream. It radiates, and men feel it. They sense the difference between someone who needs validation and someone who moves from fullness. You're the kind of woman who doesn't beg to be chosen because you already choose yourself. That energy? Unforgettable. Number 3, you avoid drama because your soul craves depth. You've evolved past the noise, gossip, small talk, emotional games. They no longer feed you. You're not interested in tearing others down or chasing attention through conflict. Why? Because your soul craves more. You want real conversations, growth, purpose, presence. And when you choose to walk away from shallow connections, you don't lose anything. You make space for something better, something real. Men sense this. They notice when a woman doesn't feed on drama. It signals emotional maturity, inner peace, and self-control. In a world full of chaos, your calm becomes magnetic. You're not running from tension. You're just not entertaining what's beneath you. And that quiet self-respect, it draws in people who value depth over drama and truth over noise. You're not loud, but you are unforgettable. Number 4, you're honest, even when it's uncomfortable. There's a rare kind of beauty in honesty. And you don't just speak the truth, you live it. You say what you mean, even when it's not easy. You don't sugarcoat your words to avoid discomfort, and you don't flatter people just to earn approval. That alone sets you apart. Sure, your honesty might ruffle some feathers. Not everyone will like it. But the right people, they admire it deeply, especially the kind of man who's looking for more than charm. He's looking for character. Your honesty tells him he can trust you, lean on you, build with you, because your words carry weight. They're not performative. They're real. And in a world full of mass and mixed signals, your truth is a rare form of attraction, not flashy, but deeply, undeniably powerful. Number 5, you love yourself, even the parts the world told you to hide. This one is powerful. In a world that constantly tells women to shrink, to be quieter, softer, more acceptable, you've done the opposite. You've chosen self-love, real, radical self-love. You've looked at your reflection and embraced every curve, every scar, every trait society tried to label as too much. You don't wait for permission to feel beautiful. You own it. You know that true beauty isn't about perfection. It's about presence. And men feel that. They're drawn to women who radiate from within, who don't chase external validation, but glow from their own self-respect. Because when you love yourself deeply, you give others the permission to love you fully. Not for who you pretend to be, but for who you truly are. Number 6. You're not desperate for attention. You radiate presence. You don't need to beg for eyes to turn. Your magnetism isn't in how loud you are. It's in your silence, your calm, your confidence. You don't need the tightest dress in the room or 100 posts on social media to feel seen. Because when you walk in, the room shifts. Not because you're demanding attention, but because your presence commands it. That's the difference. You're grounded, whole, unapologetically you. And that quiet strength, it speaks louder than words. Men notice it, and more importantly, they respect it. You don't perform for approval, you exist in alignment. And when a woman isn't chasing validation, she becomes the kind of woman worth chasing. Number 7, you have boundaries and you protect your peace. One of the most striking signs of a truly attractive woman? Boundaries. You know what you will and won't allow, and you don't bend just to keep someone around. You don't entertain disrespect. You don't sacrifice your peace just to avoid being alone. Your love, your time, your energy, they're valuable, and you treat them that way. You've learned that a woman without boundaries becomes a magnet for chaos. But you've become a guardian of your own serenity. That doesn't make you cold, it makes you clear. And men sense that. They know if you choose them, it's not out of need or fear, it's because you want to. And that kind of certainty, that's rare, that's magnetic. Number 8, you've mastered your emotions. You respond, not react. Let's be honest, emotional intelligence is rare, and you've made it your strength. You've learned to pause before reacting, to process your feelings before projecting them. You don't lash out, beg to be understood, or spiral into drama. Instead, you sit with your thoughts, respond with grace, and let your actions speak for you. That calm, that composure, it's powerful. In relationships, it makes people feel safe. A woman who can regulate her emotions creates space for connection, not confusion. And men? They notice. Because you're not unpredictable, you're reliable. You don't cause storms, you bring peace. And in a world full of emotional chaos, that kind of balance doesn't just make you attractive, it makes you unforgettable. Number 9, you're always learning. And that makes your mind irresistible. True attractiveness isn't just about looks. It's about how you think, how you speak, how you show up intellectually. You're curious. You ask questions that matter. You read, explore, and express yourself with depth. You don't pretend to know everything, but you're always open to growth. And that's magnetic. A woman who's mentally alive, who has opinions, insights, and dreams, is the kind of woman who challenges and inspires. Men looking for real connection crave this. Because you don't just look good beside someone, you help build something meaningful. You're not just a pretty face, you're a force. And that blend of beauty and intellect, it's rare and unforgettable. Number 10, you communicate with intention, and that's irresistible. You don't need to shout to be heard. Your power is in your presence. When you speak, your words carry weight, not because they're loud, but because they're real. You speak with clarity, kindness, and purpose. And just as importantly, you listen. People feel safe with you. They feel seen and understood. And in a world where attention is scattered and shallow, your ability to connect is powerful. You're not playing communication games. You're building emotional bridges. And men who are emotionally available, they're drawn to that. Because intimacy isn't built on noise. It's built on presence, and your presence, it lingers. So take a moment and breathe. Because if you recognized even one of these signs in yourself, know this. You're not just attractive. You're deeply magnetic, the kind of woman who turns heads not just with beauty, but with depth, energy, and confidence. You don't need to change. You don't need to shrink. You only need to own who you are. That's where your power lives. If this message spoke to your soul, leave a comment below. Like, share, and subscribe to keep this energy flowing. You're radiant. You're worthy. And the right people, they already see it. See you in the next one.